Welcome back to another episode of The Canon. I'm your host, Terry, and today we're doing top 5 MVPs and my top 5 favorite characters from Avengers Endgame. Spoilers ahead, of course. If you didn't see it or you don't want to be spoiled, then stop listening now. But these are going to be my personal list. This is just what I think, so feel free to put your own list down in the comments. So starting off, we're going to do MVPs. Who was valuable to completing the mission in Endgame? And number 5, I got Captain Marvel. A lot of people don't like her a lot, but Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, they still really haven't called her Captain Marvel, wasn't in the movie a whole lot, but she did come in a pivotal point, when the gunships were firing, or was it rain, hellfire down on the battle? Cause at that point, everybody was under siege, and I'm not sure that anybody but Thanos would have been able to survive long enough to do what he had to do. And so that was kind of a game breaker, having the air support, with Thanos' army, until they start shooting up at the sky. Oh, something entered the atmosphere. And so she comes in and destroys the ship. Now, whatever she does after that is not super important, but her destroying the ship, I would argue, was very important to their success. Number 4, I got Black Widow. Now, a lot of people might be like, what? Only at 4? Yes, she sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone. They needed that stone to undo the reality. It was a sacrifice. But outside of that, you gotta think she didn't really do much in this movie. She just kind of rode in the ship, on autopilot with Hawkeye to, Vormir. And then that's when she had to make a sacrifice. But up until that point in the movie, she didn't really contribute a whole lot to the whole thing, as much as some of these other MVPs. So she's still MVP because she got one of the stones, probably the hardest stone to get. But, I would say overall, she didn't do a whole lot. She tried to continue running the Avengers, but she was pretty shaken up. She was pretty broken apart. And, like most people was, we don't blame her for that. In the end, she did what she had to do, but she didn't have a lot to do in the movie. So number 3, my MVP is Rocket Raccoon. He did a lot. I mean, he got an Infinity Stone, the Ether, while trying to deal with Thor, who was not doing his part at all. He also helped build the, Quantum Realm time machine, whatever platform you want to call it. He supplied the ship, and he, knew how to fly the ship. He set the coordinates, helped with Nebula helped too, but, as far as helping them plan out how they were going to do that. And so Rocket's a pretty jack of all trades. I mean, he can fight when he needs to fight. He could, get the mission done when he needs to get the mission done. He's smart as well as handy. So Rocket, I would say, contributed a lot, not only to the time heist, but, also in the end part too as well. So number 2, my MVP is Doctor Strange. And people are like, wait, what? Doctor Strange. Now this connects to the last movie, Infinity War, but still counts in this movie. At first, I left the movie like, I still don't get why he gave the time stone away. I'm like, what happened in Endgame that necessitated that? And so after the second time I saw it though, that's when I realized that I guess the one chance they had to beat Thanos, as scary as he was with his army, was if he didn't have the stones. And I could talk about Thanos with the stones versus Thanos without the stones. I'll do that in a different point. But overall, you gotta think, if Thanos in Infinity War was going hard, there was nothing you could really do to stop him. Besides, getting a surprise shot in with Stormbreaker. Like, if you look at how hard he went in this movie, and, he didn't have any stones, you just imagine with the actual gauntlet or part of the gauntlet filled up, it would have been darn impossible. He knocked Captain Marvel out in one shot with just the Power Stone. Just the Power Stone. So there's that. So I think Doctor Strange putting the Endgame in motion, which was a long tail game, but he was banking that they would get Thanos squared off without the stones. And that was the only way to beat him. Even if he had this army with him, that's the only way they could take him down. And so that I have to give Doctor Strange MVP for that, setting that up. Iron Man #1. Who else could it be? The man, the myth, the legend. And it's not just that he did the ultimate sacrifice to win, but also he pretty much did everything. And this was kind of some convenient writing, but it is what it is. The man figured time travel out. He created the quantum realm navigator bracelets or whatever. He created a gauntlet, that could hold the Infinity Stones. Then he, held the stones himself and made the snaps. So, pretty much Tony did everything. Not everything, but he did the biggest bulk of anybody as far as MVPs in the Avengers team. So, and then I just want to say this is real characters. So the rat does not count. So don't bring that in here. So those are my MVPs for, Avengers Endgame. Definitely go down in the comments and say your own. So then the next group, my top 5 characters or favorite characters, I should say, just how much I enjoyed them. So number 5, I got Rocket. Rocket was, again, like I said, he was hilarious, but he was also very handy. I mean, he pretty much had to carry Thor throughout that mission on the time heist. But he had pretty good jokes in there as well. And at the same time, he did what he needed to do to get it done. And so I always appreciate Rocket. I think Bradley Cooper plays him very well. I think, his comedic timing is good. Like when they put the stones in the gauntlet, he was like, boo! Like that was funny. But yeah, I just overall enjoy Rocket because and one part I really liked is that when he got trapped under the rubble, like 2 times, he was just like almost crying. And if you watched the Guardians movies, you know that he just really puts up a facade, but inside he is, he's scared to be alone and scared to die. And so he's really fighting to get his family back, to help with that, insecurity that he has. And so he has a lot to fight for. So I really enjoy Rocket. Number 4, I really enjoy Iron Man. Tony really came full circle in this movie, but there's still a lot of the Tony Stark shtick that, Robert does. But, he came full circle in this movie and he really had a moment to show like him being a father and him being, warm and very different than we ever saw him. And so I really appreciated that. Of course, his final sacrifice in the middle between that, it was okay. Like him fighting honestly wasn't that great. He didn't really help that much, but, I think just as the character Tony more so than the superhero Iron Man, I really enjoyed Tony in this. Again, he kind of started off the MCU and it was a nice culmination to see how he helped, wrap it up and to see the family that he created and all that good stuff. So definitely had to put Tony on the list. Number 3, Captain America, man. The thing that put Cap at this spot over Iron Man for me is that moment when he stands against Thanos' army. And he's got the broken shield, like he had Mjolnir, but he didn't even care. Like he's been beat down, and it's just him versus the entire army. And what does he do? He straps up his shield, like I could do this all day. He didn't even have to say it. He just like, I could do this all day, and that just encapsulates why Captain America is one of my favorites, man. Because he's not like integrity when nobody's looking. When there's no acclaim, there's no fame to it. he's still going to be the same guy. And that's what I absolutely love. He's going to make the sacrifice. He's going to fight for what he's trying to get done. He's just a force. And of course he wasn't going to beat Thanos' army by himself, but that mentality is why we love Captain America. And, he had some of the same things that everybody else had, where it's just this guilt. I mean, cause really all he has is Bucky. I mean, yeah, he likes everybody else, but really Bucky, and I guess Sam too, but mostly Bucky was his guy, and he already lost him before. So I think he was just more sad by losing, more so than it was like, I have a loved one that I need to get back. It was just more, I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail these people, cause I'm Captain America and they're counting on me. And so, but he's the one that sees that determination all the way through all the time. And so I really enjoyed Cap in this. And he did change a little bit. I mean, he's definitely changed. He wasn't especially when you see Cap versus Cap, he's not as straight laced as he used to be. He's changed over the years. So it was nice to see him grow too. And I think Chris Evans plays his character the best, out of the MCU period. Number 2, this might shock people, but the Hulk. I'm gonna go with the Hulk / Bruce Banner, whatever they call him now. I love Professor Hulk. I love their version of it. A lot of people kind of complain when you see Hulk smash. And I'm like, I like that part, but the idea that he finally accepted the Hulk, and like merged with him, and he loved it. I thought it was great because you saw a conscious Hulk in Ragnarok, and it was like, okay, now this is cool. The Hulk's out. He's doing his thing. Of course, we've seen Banner before. We've seen those two fight before. And now we're getting to see those two work together, which of course that was the last thing we haven't saw. And I just thought it worked so well. I love Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. The motion capture, you could tell kind of his face, but I love him as Bruce Banner too. He's a really great actor, but he's funny too. So he has such good funny moments. He also is still very smart and was contributing to, the plan. And, if he needed to fight, which he would have been great, but his sacrifice came with making the snap originally. Like he said, I was built for this, the gamma radiation. I'm the only one strong enough to handle it without dying. And so he was in the end fight, but he didn't really show him do much because he was injured. So, I still really enjoyed it though. I just love that best of both worlds mentality where he just, he's wearing the suits or the track suits and everything, and he's taking pictures with people and he's just embracing it. The only thing I wish they did, and I'm so upset they didn't, was they should have came back around to him and Natasha. That was my favorite relationship. And so number 1, my favorite character in Avengers Endgame was Thanos. I love, and you know what? I did not think I could like Thanos more than I did in Infinity War, which was a different Thanos, but and I'll count the Thanos at the beginning of the movie as the Infinity War Thanos. I love that. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite villains. But in this movie, it's better because he switches it up on a dime. If they did what I originally thought, which was they were just going to go fight Thanos in the past on Titan before, or something like that, or Gauntlet versus Gauntlet, I think that would have been like, okay, Thanos is just going hard, same old. But the fact that the way they set it up was that he figures out the time travel is going on. And yeah, it's convenient that the memories were in Nebula, but still nobody knew what the hell was going on. Even for me, I'm like, okay, that's not a lot of information, but he figures it out so quick and makes the appropriate adjustments. Not only adjustments to trail them and come to the present, but he also makes the adjustments like, I was going to wipe out half, but now y'all showed me that doesn't work. I got to wipe everything out. I'm still about my plan. It isn't like, oh man, I won, hell yeah. Or it's not like, oh man, my head got cut off, I'm about to run away. No, it's not like, oh man, y'all messing my plan up, I just need to get rid of y'all. No, it's like, I still want to fulfill my plan. And so I'm making the logical decision that obviously instead of half, I need to do the whole world. And so he is a little more bloodlust though, but man, the way they had him beat down the Avengers and fighting without the stones was it was an inconsistency, but it was crazy. It's what they gave us. And so I appreciate it. Thanos was definitely that dude, once again in this movie. So anyway, those are my top 5 lists. Go down in the comment section. Let me know your top 5 favorites. Let me know who your top 5 MVPs towards completing the plan. Start the conversation, share it around, thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, if you heard it here, it's official canon.